Now 6 o'clock. Now 6 o'clock, and I call this first meeting of the month, December, together to order. To give my voice tonight, we had family in over the weekend and had a good time and talked too much. Roll call, please.
Alderman Chapman.
Present.
Alderman Bradford. Alderman Wilson. Alderman Dubose. Alderman Castro.
Present.
Alderman Chastain.
Here.
Alderman Leonard.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Alderman, we have our agenda in front of us. We have a couple of amendments to make. We have 3 amendments to make. You have a copy in front of you. At consent agenda 4.8, dealing with our utility docket. The main agenda, 5.6. This is you to approve or deny CPA firm to do our 24-25 audit. Judge, you have one?
Yes, Mayor. We'll add main agenda item 5.7, and this to approve or decline a request to acknowledge that Trustmark National Bank has granted an additional 90 days to complete necessary paperwork for the grant anticipation note extension approved on 11/18/2025.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask for an inclusion or to amend in discussion? We need to talk about a grass cutting project in Alderman Bavastro's ward.
What's that, Alderman?
Grass cutting, we have want to discuss to see if we can submit to have added in our Alderman Bavastro's ward.
Okay.
Just for discussion.
Okay, we have that the discussion for the D&B contract addition. That'll be a part of the discussion.
Thank you.
Item discussion item 5.6.
Mayor, we can remove public comments, number 3, or item 3, the one I had added.
Item 3, we will eliminate item 3. I was looking forward to hearing one of my friends and co-workers,
You could go ahead and make her talk.
Ms. Betty Neal. Ms. Betty Neal, and we worked together, looking forward to hearing her, but we're happy to have some of your organization members that are here. Glad you're okay. Okay. Y'all come back.
We are the weather.
Okay. Can I get a motion to accept the agenda with the corrections and the additions?
So move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Wish you would imagine former Alderman Cunningham, if he would do our prayer for us today, and imagine him and you to think about our Alderman Wilson. His wife lost her father. His wife lost her father, I think he said Thanksgiving Day in Gulfport. And they are preparing for his service. So if you would please think of him, his wife in particular, in the family in your prayers tonight. And he had a guest minister that had other commitments come up and he was unbecome. So I'm asking former Alderman Cunningham if he would just give us a prayer for today.
Before I pray, I would like to say one thing. I don't know if I need to get into fear of flight. Been in ministry for 40 years, been pastor for 37 years. Last Tuesday, I went to a funeral to mind my own business, just to be there and show my presence to the family and all. And so I'm sitting where I'm sitting tonight on the sideline, minding my own business, with my thoughts. And all of a sudden, the family shows up. And the usher, who was one of my classmates, begs for me. I get up and go to him, and he says, they don't have anybody to do the eulogy. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. You know. Okay, Holy Spirit, it's on you. I have no thoughts, no ideas. I don't know this person to the point where I can truly utilize. So I told the family, I said, first and foremost, there's nothing I can say to or about this person that will help them. But I can say a whole lot that will help all of those of us that are here. I walk in here tonight, and I'm here with Donna for a presentation for parts of reparation, minding my own business. And all of a sudden, the mayor says, come here. And he says, can you do this? I said, well, I can do some reparation. So I'll defer from doing 3 minutes, and I'll just pray if that'll satisfy everybody, okay? Father, again tonight we bow in humble submission to the power, name, and the authority that has been granted us. We do so now through the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ, the one, the only, the true, and the living God. Father, you tell us in your word, trust in you and lean not into our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge you, and you will give directions with clarity for our path. We come tonight asking now for this city and for us individually, that as we trust, lean, and depend upon you, as we acknowledge you and your Son, that you would give us directions for the path that you would have us to tread, that straight and narrow path, that we may be on the receiving end of your promises, which are still yea and amen. We thank you again tonight for the blood that was shed for the remission of our sins. We thank you for every stripe that he bore on his body for our health and healing. We live now this city and its leadership in this meeting before you now. You know what we need collectively, you know what we need individually, that in what we say, think, and do, you would get all the glory and the praise out of it. You would be able to show your awesome power and presence in this city as we transition from darkness to the light. Lead and guide us, instruct us. Give now strength, courage to each individual alderman and the mayor as they make choices and decisions that not only affect them individually, but affect all of us as citizens of this city. We ask now for your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding. And in doing so, we'll ever be so careful to give you all the praise, all the glory, the honor, and the thanks for it. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop. Time for the pledge.
Under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again, Bishop, for sitting in for us. We're down to item number, with a presentation. Donna Joseph, Director of Parks and Rec, to come up and introduce our guests.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. It is my pleasure to stand before you this evening to introduce to some, and some of you may be familiar with our Magnolia Monarch project. We actually, are thankful that Pastor Cunningham is here and he is in representation of the Magnolia Monarch Association as its president. Are there any other monarchs in the audience? Yes. If you would say. Well, thank you as well for adopting this project. We certainly need more partners, and that's why we are here tonight to simply introduce the partnership, and it is on the agenda, on the consent agenda as a donation, but we just want to introduce Miss Ashley Morrison, who is the marketing director with Canon Nissan. She is the newly, she's new actually in that position. But one of the unique opportunities that we have is actually through a proposal that Ashley had to not only come in and just provide some assistance or provide donations to the Parks and Recreation Department, but to actually use her talent to beautify some of our spaces. And so Ashley, if you will come and just share what your proposal is, and it is on the agenda item, we just want to give you a little bit of information about it.
Hi, thank you. Good to meet you all. I know I haven't seen any of you before. Like she said, I do marketing for Canon Nissan, and I'm kind of a hybrid, like rogue there, because I'm sure you've been to a car dealership and you know it's a certain species of people that work there. And I've never worked in a car dealership before. I've done marketing for other things, architecture, interior design, and more built environment type marketing. So when Gordon Grace and the team there at Canon Nissan brought me in, it was kind of part of an initiative of saying the family of Canon dealerships has almost 4 dozen dealerships all over the state. But it was really important to me and then to them as a team to show our dedication to what stays, not just the moving cars, not just a part of the business, but to do something that enriches the communities where we are. I'm a mother of 2 really active kids, and I always know that the Parks and Rec can use help where they can get it. I love to paint murals. It's something that, is kind of a hobby of mine. So when I first got into my role, I contacted Donna and I said, hey, I'm willing to use my hands and my skills, and what do you have for me? And she said, well, are you in luck? We've got it. So as a part of our partnership, we're donating all the painting that I can do. We visited every one of the facilities, and it looks like over whatever course of time, there are fun things that we can do everywhere. Even if it's just painting a couple of walls with a really fun pattern that makes a summer program a little bit more exciting, or helps to get funding for another program. All of those types of things are great, and I'm super excited to start on the project for the Monarchs. It feels like to kick off with something that's so meaningful to the community and really get to embrace the history of the community in so many different ways is really exciting. So thank you guys. I'm excited to work with you.
Thank you, Ashley. And again, she did mention that it's at no cost to the city, the portion that Canon Nissan is going to actually be contributing. And this is the first of one of our projects. And so we'll be doing this across the city. So we just want to introduce Ashley. She'll become a familiar face in the community. And then when we get to that agenda item, I know you may not have any further questions knowing that it is at no cost. So I want to make that very clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley, for being here and representing Canon, and talk with Mr. Gordon. And we look forward to working with you and want our community to know that Canon, like all of our dealerships, are contributing to our city in some kind of way. And this is Canon way of contributing, but some make donations to our fire and police department. Omega Pro Tem, they're on a constantly basis donating something to the city. So all of our businesses are supporting the city in some kind of way. And we're happy that Canon has chose to do it this way. So you'll be seeing murals throughout our city, complimentary of Canon dealership. Thank you, Judge. Again, yes. We're down to our consent agenda, item number 4.
Comments.
Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda item 4.1 through 4.8?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
The motion by Alderman Linderman, second by Alderman Chastain, that we accept consent agenda item 4.1 through 4.8. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Main agenda,
Main agenda, item 5.1, approve a decline of request to remain in or opt out of the Safe Solicitation Act, House Bill number 1197, submitted by Randy Pierce, Board Attorney. Mr. Mayor, the materials were in the packet, and I'll be happy to explain at the proper time if you need it.
it's just, again, for our public, this is a bill that our legislators pass, and it allows us to either opt in, opt out of soliciting for people that's out on our highway. Some may see them as homeless, for soliciting as far as, baseball teams or anybody that does any soliciting. The state has this law where we can opt in, which means opt in, those people have to get a permit to solicit on our streets if we opt into this program that the state has approved. If we opt out, it means that it's okay for people to do what they do. So that is our charge for tonight. Judge, want to add anything to what I said?
Thank you, Mayor, and Mayor explained it. If we take no action, you're opting in. So you would be opting in. If you choose to opt out, you do need to do that affirmatively, either this meeting or the next meeting. Opting out doesn't prevent you from looking and passing your own ordinance, if you so wish, to address any issues in your city. But the legislature passed this particular bill, Safe Solicitation Act, which goes into effect. And if you don't opt out, then you have to develop a system. You would be able to charge up to $25 per person that's seeking to solicit donations. So I did a little, I talked to the board attorney for Gaucher. I don't believe they are taking any action, so they would be in. I talked to the city attorney for Ocean Springs, and he said it's on their agenda tonight, but his recommendation, or he anticipated the recommendation from the mayor being to opt out. But it's really your decision. The state legislature gives you this vehicle to where if you don't do anything, it will go into effect and apply in your city. You would have to develop this permitting system and put somebody in place to do that. For any person as defined in this act, as somebody collecting fees or soliciting donations. If you opt out, then that means that this particular law won't apply, but then you can, if you don't have one already, adopt an ordinance and fashion it in your manner. Yes, sir.
Other words, you're saying that if people like have food trucks or selling on the side of the street, they're gonna have to purchase a permit?
This one is more of solicitation donations, like somebody at a red light seeking donations, soliciting funds, as opposed to a food truck, which would be governed by a different set of regulations. But this is simply for the solicitation of funds, donations.
Oh, like you said, little kids standing at the red light and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
the definition says solicit means to request money or anything of value as a donation or contribution while standing, and it goes on, in any manner on any road, street, highway, median, traffic island, or highway intersection, or to request any other thing of value in exchange for any goods, wares, merchandise, or food of value at the intersection. So it's governing that activity at intersections, so.
Mayor, I think this law could help us. I had a couple of situations since I've been on the board where we had a so-called organization at the intersection out here on the highway, which is dangerous, especially the one on 63. But they were a fake organization. They were claiming to be some charitable group. They were taking up money, people coming through the intersection, like stopping traffic, and it's dangerous for one thing, but they were not real, but they were collecting money. So you have that potential. People just set up out there, and the other thing was some children, like you said, and they were at the intersection of Amico and 63, and they were something you would want to support, but they were out there in a dangerous situation. I think they were selling donuts or something. I can't remember, but I think it's something that we might want to consider, because it's from if nothing else, a safety standpoint and a way to possibly avoid fraud. If someone has to get a permit before they go solicit funds out in our city, I would think they can be more careful to make sure they're legit. And that's just my comment.
And the reason I want to put it on there tonight is for you to have this before you, understanding that if you're going to make a decision on this, it has to be done within the 6 months of its effective date, and it went into effect July 1. So you do have one more opportunity, but I just wanted to make sure you were aware of this option to opt out if you so choose. If you don't do anything, again, the act will go into place, and it will regulate the behavior of solicitors. We will set up a system for a person to be permitted. It has different rules. For example, solicitation activities shall not interfere with the safe and efficient movement of traffic, things of that nature. So it's pretty detailed, but you had it in your packet. I'm sure you've read it, but it's that's there for you. Mr. Mayor, it's up to the board whether or not they want to take any action tonight, but I just wanted to let y'all know that you have the option to opt out if you so choose, and you must do so before the first of the year.
See, my main concern was, I was just thinking about the little baseball kids that be trying to solicit to go to like a state tournament, World Series or whatever. So, other words, they could do it, but they have to purchase a permit.
That's correct.
Okay, I got you. Gotcha.
So, Mr. Mayor, I got mixed emotions about that, because Alderman Leonard is absolutely right. There's so many scams out there now until you have to engage some kind of protection for the general public. But and the judge and I spoke about it a little earlier today. It should be unlawful for any person to solicit in any municipality, which means nonprofit organizations or some of these youth groups that are legit. I think overall, it would be a benefit. We could discuss safety with them in that regard, things of that nature. So I think it's a good consideration to help eliminate fraud. Alderman Leonard, that's a good point. The way things are changing now, we are going to have to change our thinking to help adapt and adjust to protect our general public.
Well, it's fine with me, because if people are legal and they really doing it the right way, why not just purchase a permit? And they'll still be fine, but either way it goes, fine with me, but
I'd move that we opt in, Mayor.
You can do that, of course. He's made a motion to opt in. You're going to be automatically, and that's good to put it on your minutes. Nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to. It's going to be automatically, but the motion is to opt in.
A second with a question for the judge.
I'll just ask Mr. Alderman Bradford, do you have any comments?
No, except that some of these kids, like you say, if they're trying to collect money for Little League or other purposes, then we'll be in a position where we can give them a permit but waive the fee. So that'll be fine for me.
just tell them they need a permit.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just tell them, hey, if y'all gonna do this, go purchase you a permit, you're fine.
So we have a motion on the floor, is that you, Alderman Leonard?
Yes.
You got a motion on the floor there, opinion?
Yes.
Is that second?
Second.
Mr. Chapman did.
Oh, okay.
Second, and to piggyback off of Alderman Bavastro, we waived rental fees for different organizations at different times on Pelican Landing or something like that. So, Judge, do we have an option to waive any of those fees?
Well, this law doesn't address that. I think what you need to do is this law is kind of contained within itself, so it doesn't address that issue of waiving fees. And so I would need to double check, and I think the best way to address something like that is through an ordinance. Because you can expand on what they're done. You just can't contract on what they've done. So I will need to check that, and I could get that information for you, but I don't have, it's not addressed in the act.
I second based on that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Judge.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.2, approve decline Gulf Coast Restoration Fund Program Grant Agreement GCRF 2352 in the amount of $200,000 for eligible expenditures along Interstate 10. Request authorization for the mayor to execute same, submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Alderman Chapman,
Second.
second by Alderman Chastain. Any questions? Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.3, approve a decline of request to increase the private event security rate from the current $30 per hour to $40 per hour for officers to go in effect January 1, 2026, submitted by Dennis Stevenson, Interim Chief of Police.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chastain and second by
Alderman Chapman.
Alderman Chapman. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item, 5.4, approve decline of request to create a community outreach line item in the police department budget in order to accept donations for community outreach, submitted by Dennis Stevenson, Interim Chief of Police.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Chastain. Any questions? Discussion? Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Next item is main agenda item 5.6, approve decline of contractual agreement for the city of Moss Point and Novum Advisory PP LLC to provide professional audit services for the city from Moss Point for fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $50,000 and fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $50,000, submitted by Mayor Billy E. Knight Sr.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Alderman Leonard and second by Alderman Chapman. Any questions? Any discussion?
Yeah, that's cheaper than what we paid $100,000 for one of the audits. What's cheaper than that $100,000 we paid for another audit? Yeah.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let's have it.
Our very able city clerk pointed out that I skipped over 5.5.
Yeah, you did.
Approve decline a request to issue a refund to JCUA-EUD in the amount of $554.40, submitted by Tricia Thigpen, City Clerk.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chapman, second by Alderman Chastain. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Final item on the item 5.7 is to approve a decline of request to acknowledge that Trustmark National Bank has granted an additional 90 days to complete necessary paperwork for the grant anticipation note extension approved on November 18, 2025.
And that was strictly to acknowledge that and to be spread in the minutes. Doesn't take a vote for that. We've already decided on that last meeting. It's just to acknowledge that, so we have it in the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That completes
Discussion item,
that, yes, sir. Discussion item is grass cutting, Alderman Ravastro's ward.
the,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, I got a phone call from Alderman Bavastro regarding a concern in his ward. And he mentioned it to me, and I told him that before, when we did this, the board recommended that we go through this process if we wanted to add any items to our grass cutting contract. So I wanted to present that to you guys. And Alderman Bavastro might be able to elaborate on it more than I, but I just want to make sure we make the mayor and the board aware before we even ask B&B to add that to our contract.
what is the location?
The grass, is located at the water tank that's, behind, previously from First Baptist Church, that water tank on, what's that, West Bayou?
East Bayou,
East Bayou, yes.
Talking about that revolve.
Bayou, the abandoned water tank.
Bill water
Yeah,
tank, it's just on the ground, it's not up in the air.
That's
And they was complaining, some, folks in the area was complaining about the grass around the tank. They had cut it before in the past. It's been over a year. And, so that's the issue we have there.
Mayor, that tank may not be in use. It seems like I want to say that ground tank was abandoned, am I correct?
It's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's covered under the contract, you know,
with B&B.
I don't remember if it was H2O or Clearwater, how we split that up, but one of them had responsibility for all the water tanks, even to cut the grass, and it's in the ongoing negotiations, I do believe. We may just want to make sure that that's not included. It may not be included since it's an abandoned tank, but I'm not sure.
It should have been H2O.
Well,
But we can check into it,
Previously, but,
yeah.
or currently, yeah, you're right.
But there, too, before this gets approved, we need to, find that out, and if they don't do it, get a quote from B&B to see how much this would, cost in the budget, and, find out how many times it needs to be mowed and things like that, and then come back to the board, with a recommendation.
It's a station right side that tank too, that's ongoing, something. It's an old well. That's what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I know it was something beside it.
Alderman Vastro will, do the investigation, with H2O. And if it's determined that we need to get it mowed, as you suggested, then we'll need to get a bid and bring that back to the board. And that's when we'll approve it or deny it.
That's fine.
We'll have that by our next meeting. Okay. Anything else,
No, sir. Motion.
Judge?
Mayor, last item, 5.7, executive session. I will need a motion to close session to determine the need for executive session.
Motion to close this session to determine the need for executive session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
David, what is it, Judge?
I just have, we have some ongoing litigation. I just need to update on ongoing litigation to the board, as well as discuss a possible or potential litigation issue.
It's a litigation issue that we need to discuss in executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Chapman, the second by Alderman Chastain, that we go into executive session to discuss this potential legal matter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you all for coming. You can stay around, we'll make the announcement after.